back from her sort of party. Which is kind of a good thing, really, because he was getting a bit dull, a bit boring. So, but we had a few stillers to get through it, sort of thing, and then it's all good from there.
All right, well, we're live. This is American Hammers TV, and we're going to do a match preview today. We're going to try to do this regularly. We've done a few already. Got a couple special co-hosts today. We have Wayne from Dallas Hammers. We've had him on many times before. And we have Luke from Irons United. Check them out on YouTube. They have an awesome YouTube channel. They also have a decent presence on on social media, but especially Twitter. If you want to check them out on Twitter, they're always posting some good content. So before I go any further, I got to mention once again, I'm drinking Strava Craft coffee. This stuff is amazing. It's organically infused with hemp and CBD oil. This particular one I'm drinking here is the Peace and Wellness Restore. You can get the same exact thing and save 15% off your first order by clicking on the link in the description below. But this one has like tasting notes of brown sugar, ripe cherry, and natural cocoa. So this one is one of my favorites. Absolutely, I've tried out a few and hooked on this stuff. I drink it every single episode, whether it be 9 o'clock at night or or 10 o'clock in the morning shows. So check it out. Link in the description below. 15% off your first order.
Was it Nick the other day that said it's good being brewed by the pot?
Yeah, that's true. Listen, so Jesus Christ, we've had a whirlwind, I guess, up and down ever since that Liverpool match, really, the 1-1 draw, where we thought we had something there. We thought we might have turned a corner with this whole Arnie saga and everything else, and just one thing after another. And even the Huddersfield match where we were down in the dumps, and we came back and won 4-3. We're like, okay, well, maybe we turned again. And like, no. And people are saying, well, the refs are shit. We need VAR. Well, we're not getting it this season, so we need to move forward. But, that said, are we – I mean, the last two performances were decent. The Leicester match was all right. It was not bad. But the Man United match, that performance was fantastic, and we were robbed. Like, I could not believe. We put in probably the best performance I've seen all season, and here we are heading into Tottenham. It's a London derby, and it's going to be at that fucking shithole. Well, that's not really a shithole. It's really nice, but I'm just saying.
It's the best looking toilet I've seen in London in years. Seriously, I tell you, the public loos have really got better in London since I left 20 odd years ago. They really have. They're a lot better now than they. I mean, but the one thing I've noticed is I always remember from being back in London that the public toilets never seem to have toilet seats on them. And once again, it doesn't have a toilet seat on it.
Open bowl.
There you go. Open bowl with all those little things swimming around inside.
People are too lazy. That's what it is. Less work.
So, yeah. Luke, what do you think heading into this? What do you think our realistic chances are?
Yeah. Do you know what? I was saying this on Irons United preview, which we recorded last night. I'm just going to plug that a little bit, just because that's my duty.
Go for it, yeah.
Go for it.
Yeah. But basically, for me, our season's done. I am probably in the minority of people who don't really care about getting this seventh place. I think it's like, we got to make seventh. It's the only push we've got left this season. It's like, I don't really. It doesn't bother me. Seventh is like it's just if I just finish 14th or anything. Just me personally, okay, we're finishing in the higher end of the table, but it sort of papers over a lot of cracks, and we've had enough chances to get there in the first place anyway during the season. But this is Spurs away, and this is a chance for us to not only possibly even get a goal there, be the first team to do that, also win the game. It's London rivals. So for now, this is actually making me go, no, this is something to actually look forward to. Because for the last few months, we've played games where we've had shocking performances. We haven't, scored enough goals, we conceded terrible goals. I left 3-1 down to Huddersfield. I'll admit that. And I wasn't too bothered about the fact we come back at 1. I know I should always be happy that West Ham win games, but for me, it was just totally shocking. But this is Tottenham, and this is one of them games where you go, no, this is a rival game. Let's get up for it and let's go into it. So I'm buzzing. Really, I'm really excited for a game that, and I haven't felt like that for quite some time now as a West Ham fan.
I agree with that. And I think people shouldn't lose lose track of the thought that this is an opportunity not only to beat Tottenham, because, I mean, let's face it, they've beaten us twice this season already, okay? But it's an opportunity to go down on record as being the first club to beat them in that. And I'll admit it, I'm jealous, but beat them in that beautiful stadium. We could be the first people to beat them in that beautiful stadium, okay? Which would make my heart glow. Would really make my heart glow beautifully. Also, to be able to win a game on the road would be nice. Would be really wonderful to win a game on the road. I mean, do you remember the last time we did that? I don't even remember the last time we did it.
Now you say that.
Yeah, no, wait a minute.
It wasn't a very good win.
No, it wasn't. I mean, seriously. But I seriously, I think we do. I think the stars are lining up perfectly for this. I mean, they've got a Champions League match on Tuesday, where that's got to be in the back of their minds. It's got to be in the back of their minds. And I think if we go in there and we stamp all over it, we go in there with our support, screaming bloody murder. I think we can pull off a bit of a shocker here. I really do. And maybe I'm just being, regular West Ham demented, but I think we can pull off a shocker here. I really do.
Yeah, holy shit! I think it was Southampton back in December.
Yeah, well,
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah, Southampton back in December, man. Wow, that's fucking awful.
That's poor.
Wow.
That's really poor. That highlights a massive flaw in our season. Jesus.
We had a few draws, but and a lot of losses. But the last time we won was 2-0. I'm sorry, 2-1 at Southampton. That's fucking crazy. Yeah, look, it's really exciting because what I'm most excited about is that we've actually been playing somewhat better, as a unit, as of late. And God, just the thought of, like you guys said, the thought of going in there and not only beating Tottenham, but like you said, scoring the first goal at that stadium as an opposition, that would be just, that would be something we'd all remember, But my problem though is we keep changing the damn lineup. Pellegrini changes it. Now, Luke, you mentioned earlier, like you don't really bothered about seventh place, and it's pretty much over. I mean, we like you said, we had many opportunities. I'm not a conspiracy theorist, but Lee, my co-host, my regular co-host, he is, and he just saying it all the time. It just made me start thinking, like, wait a minute, holy shit, maybe the board didn't want seventh. Maybe the board told Pellegrini, listen, you need to put out Obiang and Perez today against Everton. We don't want to win this match today. Make it look okay, but they didn't. They looked horrible. But just shit like that, because the performances in the cups were it should have been. I mean, the results should not have been like the teams that they put out. They should have beaten the Wimbledons and the other clubs that they played. But the performances, like, it just is every single time that we're about to get seventh place, it looks like it's been sabotaged. I mean, there's no excuse. We have great players.
Three
there's
times.
No reason. Yeah, it's
Three
just
times we fucked it up.
They keep changing the lineup and shifting it around. Like, one guy will have one bad game and he's benched for 3 weeks, and then another guy will have one okay performance and he'll be automatically get the next game. And like Ogbonna shouldn't be playing as much as he has been. And who was the other one? There was a period of time where Fredericks was getting performances. I mean, he was getting the opportunity to start, and I love the guy to death. I hope that he does good, but I personally feel that he's too old to learn fundamentals, and he doesn't have fundamentals. He's just got pace, and he cannot pass the ball to save his fucking life. And if you watch him, the last match that he actually started and played the whole 9 minutes, every single time he touched the ball and went to pass it or had the ball in the air, it immediately went to the opposition. Like, every single one. It was fucking ridiculous. And that was the first half. But anyway, he ended up stringing some more in the second half. But that's not the point. The lineup is consistently changing. It has been all year. There's only been one time this whole year that it was the same lineup 2 weeks in a row. And there's no continuity. There's no flow. And that's one of my biggest issues. I don't know what you guys think about that. Wayne?
Yeah, I must admit, I've been slightly confused, but then again, I've been kind of so blasé and a bit lethargic when it comes to the West Ham recently. I've just been going, oh, he's playing. Oh, he's playing. Oh, okay, fair enough. Well, as long as you put in some effort, I don't really care if you're starting. That's how it's kind of how defeatist I've almost become this season. It's for a West Ham season, we're not fighting relegation. I should maybe be looking at it as going, oh, this is quite a good season actually because we're mid-table. We're not worrying about going down a division, but it was meant to be a lot better than this. And this is one of the things where, you know, you talk about conspiracy theories about the board not wanting to get seventh. I think there's been a theory going around last few weeks that Obiang's only been playing and Perez only been playing just to put their names in the shop window to say the clubs, look, they're scoring, they're playing, come get them in the summer, which isn't a bad way of thinking about it, but it also lessens the chances of maybe youth players getting a chance towards the end of the season and stuff like that. But it's a tough one because we get injuries like they're going out of fashion, and I think maybe Pellegrini is looking at during training, oh, this person's had a good week at training, this person is looking less fresh than he was, less sharp than he was in the last game. But who knows? I mean, I've been surprised that Fredericks hasn't played as much recently over Zabaleta. And obviously, Creswell's had some injuries at left back, so Masuaku's come in, and it's all been here, there, everywhere. But I mean, more or less, I mean, you've had Anatovic up front. Maybe Hernandez is taking that spot for a couple of weeks and what have you. And Antonio's been in and out the side. So it has been one of them things. But I think Pellegrini is maybe trying to utilise everything that he has at the club at the same time. But he looks absolutely knackered to me, Pellegrini. And maybe he's just going, I don't want to cause problems within the camp, so I'll play this person, that person, just to keep them sweet. I don't know. Obviously, I'm not there at day-to-day training like no one else is, but it is a bit bewildering. But at the time, you kind of think to yourself, well, there must be a reason for it. There must be a reason why this person's playing. But one of the things I couldn't tell you as a West Ham fan is why. But it is a bit bewildering.
Well, if you look at Pellegrini, I mean, the last time he was in the Premier League, I mean, he had big bucks behind him, right? He had money behind him. This is the first time he's really experienced the reality of the Premier League.
Yeah.
I mean, so he's got to be looking at this and going, oh, I mean, it's a tough league. It's a tough league. So it's a learning curve for him as well as it is, for the people underneath him. And it's a learning experience for us too, because we as fans, we don't know what his philosophy really is. We don't know. We know what the Pellegrini that managed Man City would have done, because that's the Pellegrini that had a bucket load of money behind him. Okay. Yeah. But now we've got Pellegrini that's got limited resources, who's got the squad that he's got, and that's it. So I think I don't know even what his philosophy is. Is it to share starting time around? Is it to pick his best squad from those that are training well? Is it that he's just got these people that are in mind that he thinks are just the best players on the team that he's going to put out there regardless of how they play in training? I don't know any of that now. I mean, what is Pellegrini's mentality of that? And we're starting to learn what it is. Are we? I think we came into this thinking, oh wow, we've spent a ton of money, so we've got to go far this year. We have to go far, and I think we as fans were unrealistic. We're always wearing those rose-colored glasses as to what it is that we think we're going to do.
Yeah,
but let's face it, it's the first year with a new manager. And, I seriously think finishing mid-table was really all we could have expected if you're being realistic about it. Yeah, when we looked at the beginning of the season, what did I say we were going to finish? I said we were going to finish in 6th place. Okay? I'm an idiot for saying it, but I said it.
You're not an idiot, but I like you getting that.
I said it. But, he's got what he's got.
He came out the other day, apparently, or in the last few weeks, he did say, look, I'm trying to recreate with West Ham what I did at Villarreal in La Liga, where, they weren't the most richest of clubs. They didn't have this, that, and the other, but through almost pure perseverance, they got through to the Champions League places, and they went to a certain level and to a certain stage, and they didn't have massive financial backing. But they maybe had a bit more than a few of the clubs around them. But I think he's looked at West Ham and going, do you know what? There is potential here. There is massive potential here to achieve with West Ham. But there's something holding them back. And it could be the Anatovic saga. It could be the club saying, right, you've had your summer money now. There's You have to work with what you got now for a couple of transfer windows and whatever. It could be that he's looking at the different medical and coaching teams and all the rest of it. But I think his philosophy, I think his philosophy is maybe not quite right for West Ham, but in our heads it probably is. Like, we want to be this team that are playing like one of the top 4 teams, playing fantastic football, and trying to go far in the cups and all that. But we're a team that's been battling relegation for the last couple of years, and we've only had a good season really before we moved to the new stadium. With Payet, etc. But we've never really known how to achieve in this league. And we were hoping that with Pellegrini's experience and the fact that he's got the ambition to take a club like West Ham forward, that was going to happen. But I'm willing to just write off this season and just say, right, that's your tester. This is what West Ham's all about. This is what West Ham's like. Do your bizzo next season. And then he's on a 3-year contract, and this is his second season coming up. So it'll be interesting to see what happens next season for me.
Yeah, it's just I don't know. The injury crisis is the issue to me, where a lot of these injuries that have caused players to be out, I mean, are they real? I mean, I know someone like Yarmolenko, absolutely. Someone like Lanzini, yeah, sure, 100%.
And I think
they had some real injuries, but when you have someone with the calf strain, or I mean, how believable is that? Because we can't see that. We can't test it. We don't know that they actually have one. Or that was just an example, but like, is Nasri really hurt? Like, that dude should be in the team, the squad.
Well, he was banned, wasn't he, for using banned supplements, I think, while he was at a club about 2 years ago, and he was banned for a year of playing. Now, when you consider that, he's gone from a year of not playing competitive football to go and bang straight into the Premier League, the so-called toughest league in the world. He was bound to get injuries. Especially on a short-term contract where he's trying to get himself a permanent contract as well. So I'm not surprised that he's injured. But where you're saying if these injuries are real, when you hear that Arnautovic is ill before
that's
game,
the
just ill.
Yeah,
it's like, well, I get a cold, I've got to go to work. I'm not on 90 grand a week. That to me. I think him and Hernandez combined have had about 5 different colds and flus this season, and it's like, well, either go down the pharmacy and get some Lemsip, or actually sort yourself out because you might have a bit of a disease going on, mate. Because it's a bit of a joke after a while.
They need a drop of whiskey in their tea every morning.
Yeah,
that's what they need.
Exactly.
My nan always swore by it.
I mean,
drunk. She's not even play better.
Pellegrini definitely had injuries under his tenure at Manchester City, but again, they had Manchester City, money and depth. I don't think they had nearly as many injuries as he's had this season. But that's the reason why I was saying how many of those injuries were believable, because it's kind of unbelievable how many injuries we had this season. That's what I was getting at.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know what? It's when you look at the people we picked up as well. It's like, I mean, I love Jack Wilshere. I think the guy's one hell of a nice guy, lovely lad. But and I cheered when we signed him because I thought, yeah, it's a lovely publicity ploy and everything. But I mean, the guy goes to blow his nose, and I think I'm afraid. I'm afraid when he blows his nose. I really am. It's is he going to put his back out when he blows his nose? And I'm sorry, Jack, if you ever get a chance to watch one of these episodes, but I am. I'm seriously, honestly afraid for you when you take a blow of your nose. But and Nasri, like you said, he's been out of the game for a year. Yeah, he's a magician when he's on form, but he's been out of the game for a year. So there's 2 people you've got that are dodgy. Now you've got Sanchez that says his great heart says he hopes he can come back and play in this game. Hasn't played all bloody season. What's he talking about? And he didn't even play brilliantly when he did bloody play. And it's like we got all the
exactly.
It's like we're like it's like that TV show, The Walking Dead. We are the bloody Walking Dead. I mean, put the makeup on us and send us out. That's West Ham.
That message. I don't know where that message came. Was it a tweet or from Carlos Sanchez, or was it just a news interview or something like that?
I think it was a tweet or something.
Or something like that. That made me cringe when I saw that. Like what? I'm sorry. Like, maybe it was mistranslated or something like that. Maybe he didn't actually say that in English, or maybe that is just his bad English or something.
Maybe we can just maybe we can just wish it was Google Translate going wrong.
Yeah, because that makes nobody talks like that or thinks like that anymore, especially someone of his caliber. You know, to actually say, go ahead.
I'll be honest with you. I mean, injuries have been a problem for us since I've been supporting the club. To be honest with you, we've always had decent players, and to be honest with you, it's for quite a few years. None of our shit players got injured. It was always the good players. It was like, for fuck's sake,
right?
So get injured, right? But it was that was the way it was. But I remember ages ago there was you might remember him, Wayne, Craig Bellamy played for us about 10 years ago now. And they asked him about West Ham, and he said, "Look, not being funny, but I played for a lot of clubs in my career. West Ham has the worst training ground I've ever played at, just due to the fact that the pitches aren't conditioned properly. Everything it's the hardest pitch to play, which sounds to the average man like, oh, get on with it. You're a footballer, get on with it. But maybe if they're training every day, they're thinking, look, if you're going for a tackle, if you go to jump for a ball for a header, and you're landing on a hard surface, maybe it does do something to the muscles and to these little niggles sort of thing like that. But then we moved training grounds, and we seem to have the same problem. So I think I've kind of given up with hoping that we're gonna. I think maybe we are cursed, but then obviously every team in every league gets injuries. It's not just us, but we seem to.
No, it's us.
Yeah.
It's us. No, I've been supporting for too long. It's us, mate. It is. You're right. It's us. We're bloody cursed. It's
It's yeah.
But you're. I mean, you're right. It's. We had so much going against this issue. I mean, we had those 5 opening games. When you look at the season, really, what we had going against us, we had the 5 opening games where it was like, let's throw, what was it? Was it 11 new players we signed this year? I can't remember how many it was at the beginning of the season.
Yeah, at least about 7, at least 7 or 8 or something.
Yeah. So let's throw them all together and let's. Let's win the Champions League with all these new players. And
it was because that 5th game that you're talking about, the 5th match when they played Everton, they looked like they could do that. Once they settled in, that one match, we're like, oh, the tide has turned. We're fucking going now, because they put on a performance, and then they drew Chelsea the following week, and they fucking beat Man United the week after that, 3-1. I mean, they looked like, oh shit, the tide's turned, man.
But then the Premier League being what it is, the FA decided, looks like West Ham's finally getting their act together. So let's have a word with the referees, and let's see if we can spice it up a bit. Because their supporters won't be happy unless they can at least moan about the refs a little bit. So let's have a word with them, and let's turn 4 or 5 of their matches over because of bad refereeing calls. Let's do that. So we got that as well, okay, and then they're like, and if that doesn't work, we don't have to do that every match, because we've got this player of theirs whose brother's a total fucking nutcase who's going to fuck it all up for him halfway through the season anyway, okay? And his brothers being brothers, the brother who actually plays is probably going to walk off just before the end, just before Christmas, and go like this: "Bye-bye, everybody, bye-bye," and just mess everybody's bloody heads up, and that'll be them like screwed for at least another couple of months. So we have our
you don't want to mess
fair
around
share
with
of drama,
do you? You don't want to mess around with the
nah. We have more than our fair share of drama, don't we? We really do.
It's never boring. It's never boring being a West Ham.
It isn't, is it? It's not. It's like, and I harp on this all the time. That Men in Blazers show. That I don't know if you get it over there in England.
Yeah, I've seen it a couple of times.
Did you see that there was an episode that had James Corden on it about a month and a half, 2 months ago, and he was telling people why they should be a West Ham supporter, American fans, why they should be a West Ham supporter instead of being a Man U or a Chelsea supporter. And it boiled down to you should be a West Ham supporter because you don't want to be a plastic fan like these Chelsea and these Man U supporters over here in America. You should be a West Ham supporter because you're always like you're going for the hope of Europa glory or Europa failure, as he put it, or you're teetering on the brink of relegation. And it's like that's a lot, isn't it? That is a lot.
Do you know what? Honestly, right? I told my brother that I was coming on here tonight, and I always said, "Oh, what's the support like there out in America?" And I was like, "Oh, well, it's pretty. We got a good view over there." And he went, hold on. He clicked with him. He went, hold on. They've got a choice to support anyone, and they're supporting West Ham. And then he was like, why? Are they giving you reasons? I was like, they have, but I just thought they were a bit crazy, to be fair. So I thought
that's the best part of the show. That is the best part of the show, is that, interviewing all these different supporters groups. And I mean, some of them are English people who moved over here, like Wayne and the guy in Las Vegas and so on, and the guy in Atlanta that we spoke to last night. Or it's, Americans who fell into it by watching Green Street Hooligans. I mean, they're completely random. Or someone who's, saw... someone who plays FIFA, and the one team that they were able to, actually win a title with was West Ham, or some stupid, just random, completely random stuff. I saw them in The Simpsons, or I saw them on the IT Crowd. Some random shit. I mean, that's the best part about interviewing all the supporters from around here, is that it's always something different.
Oh, you know what the sad, desperate thing is, Luke? You know what's sad and desperate, Luke, is that us long time sufferers, we hear these crazy ideas as to why they became a West Ham supporter or why they like it, and we're just so desperate for someone to suffer with us that we go, that doesn't make any difference. Come down the pub and watch the game with me.
Do you know what it's like? It's like with the Sith in Star Wars. Come over to the dark side. We don't want the light side. You don't want the Jedi. You don't want to use the Force. You want to struggle. The struggle's real. The pain is it's better to lose every week and think you're gonna win than going 6-0 City.
Yep. And I'll tell you what, I get really defensive of my American supporters when I see like the odd supporters say, what the hell do we want to hang out with those bleeding Yanks for? They're nothing. They're probably watching the game because they saw Green Street Hooligans, or they played it on bloody FIFA or something. Yeah, you know what? They probably are. That's probably the reason why they have got West Ham. But guess what? I want them to hang out with me because I've got no bloody other person that wants to hang out with a proper West Ham fan. I'll watch the bloody game with me. And they sing and they get into it. And I tell you what, I've got...
That is rather selfish.
So it's proper selfish. But I tell you what, I've got people in my group in Dallas that know more about West Ham, the history of it, and know more about football than I will ever know. Because they've thrown themselves 100% into it. Yeah. Because once you get over that initial reason as to why they got hooked on it, they throw themselves into it, mate. They throw themselves into it and they buy into it. Because people like me who are salesmen teach them about the passion and the tradition behind it. Serious. Because it is special. We are a special team. We aren't the plastic. I mean, look at those Man City fans. I mean, Man City, they sit there on their asses for most of the game like this, waiting for their team to entertain them now. It's sad. It's sad. They never used to be that way, but now they do.
Well, it's funny you say that about Man City, because they reckon a lot of their diehard fans from years gone by don't go to it anymore, because to them it's not their club anymore. They remember going away to Stockport on a Tuesday night in the pouring rain and watching them lose 6-0. And you look at it on the surface going mad, but there's a certain realness, there's a certain rawness to that, which I think entices a lot of fans to go and watch teams and be part of that sort of community spirit. And when you're going over to, with all respect, you can have all the lights, the biggest stadiums, all the lights, everything, the glitz and the glamour and all that. But football really was, when it was like a proper working class sport, it was part of your. It was not just. It wasn't like an event like it is now with all the lights and all these halftime shows and stuff. It was proper. You went there because your mates went down the pub, and it was your local club and stuff like that. And there's many different reasons, but I sympathise. I do sympathise with old school football fans, definitely.
Yeah, I remember it was you go down the pub. It'd be a Saturday 3 p.m. kickoff. Yeah. You go down the pub. You get a belly full of beer. You'd roll out of the pub, you go to the ground. Yeah. That's it. Standard. And then, you roll out of the ground and you'd roll back into the pub again. So
Boomeranged every Saturday.
Yeah, serious. Yeah. That's what it was about.
So which matches have you gone to this year?
For me? Well, being a season ticket holder, I haven't missed. I think I've missed one home game that was due to being work constraints or something like that, like a midweek game that I couldn't get to in time. But for the last sort of, luckily got a season ticket when we moved stadium. It was like my chance to get one, and I got one, thankfully. And I've practically, I've been to about, I reckon I've been to about 90-95% of games. If I haven't gone, it's because I literally just cannot get there, or there's another reason why I can't go. But I've been to practically every game this season, you know. So
That's awesome.
I've been through
You
it.
going to any away matches?
No, I don't get the chance to go because I've spent so much money going to home games. By the time the time the away game comes along, I'm skipping the last game. But you know, I spent enough pints drinking trying to forget about the last home game defeat or something. But I'm planning to go on more away games this year. You know, hopefully when we're not losing 6-0 away to, you know, Brighton or Cardiff, whoever stays up and stuff like that. You know, so hopefully
they have some.
Now, are you going to be going to the Spurs game on this weekend?
No, I looked into it.
Did you manage?
I know people who are going, and they're like absolute gold dust. This is what I'm saying. This to a lot of fans. This is like Spurs fans joke, right? That to us, this is our cup final because we make so much of it and we want to beat them so much. It's almost like we're going to win a trophy out of it, the way we beat Tottenham trophy or something. But the way this season has gone, this literally is like the last hurrah for us. And I know that Southampton's going to be the last home game, and then Watford's the last away game, the last official game of the season. But this is like, you know, if we're going to get something out of this season, something to cheer about, let's make it this one. So fans have literally just clawed at this and gone, right, you know, let's get as many as we can going. So I know it's a sellout. There's a few people that bought tickets that are selling them for knockoff prices just to make some money out of it because they are literally that hard to come by. But I know about 4 or 5 people that are going, and good luck to them because I did try initially, but I thought it's so hard. It's just, you know, it's just so difficult to get hold of.
Well, it should be a great match. I think we actually do stand a chance. Now, their injuries, 100% injured, are Winks, Aurier, Lamela, Sissoko, and Kane. None of those will be in the match. They don't have anybody who's doubtful, whereas we have quite a few. We have, you know, Cresswell's doubtful, Hernandez is doubtful, Lanzini, and which is not. I mean, that actually should be just flat out injured. I don't think he's going to be. I mean, he's running around and stuff like that, but he's not going to be in the match. There's no way Lanzini's ready. But anyway, Sanchez, the doubtful, but Nasri, Reed, Carroll, and Yarmolenko are all definitely out, 100%. So that said, let's start with Luke. Who do you want to see start?
Well, it's funny because I was saying yesterday that I think personally I'd like to see Pellegrini go a bit left field with this as a selection. Maybe choose a formation that we haven't seen before. Maybe pick a few players that you wouldn't normally predict. For example, if we said like a Diangana starting, for example, or playing 3 at the back with Diop, Balbuena, and Obona starting as a 3, and use wing backs with Masuaku and Fredericks or whatever. But I've got this idea. It's just going to kind of play it safe, but at the same time go for it. So we'll probably see the same sort of team that started against Leicester. But possibly Perez might start because he scored a goal and probably should have had another one, you know, given. So he potentially could have scored 2 last game. But it's got to that point now where it's like I could say who I'd want to start, but it's almost. I mean, we were saying earlier on in this video that, you know, you can never really know who Pellegrini's going to pick because he's so chop and change with who's starting and all sort of stuff like that. But at the same time, you kind of do know more or less the glue, the sort of, you know, the spine of the team. So I think that you'll see you know, obviously Fabianski will start, Masuaku left back, Obona, Balbuena, Zabaleta right back. I'd like to see Frederick start right back just due to his pace. I think Spurs have got a lot of pace on the wings. It would be handy if someone with his pace was playing, and then you'd have the Snodgrass is obviously banned for this game, as far as I know, with what he said to the.
But is he banned?
Yeah,
because he's still fighting it.
Yeah, well, what I heard last time is that West Ham appealed the initial decision, which meant that he could play against Leicester, but he'd miss this coming game. So rather than him miss Leicester and be available for this, they switched it around. Don't know what their thinking was with that, because I think I probably would have rather him played against Tottenham. But I think he'll go with Antonio on the wing, with Anderson and Noble and Rice, and then Perez and Atovic up front if Atovic is fit, which I think he is. But I'd like to see a change. I'd like to see a switch up a little bit and maybe give Tottenham something to think about. But I think it will be quite predictable, to be honest with you. I just hope whatever team we do put out puts in a shift, to be honest.
What do you think, Wayne? What would you like to see?
You know, I think what Luke just said right at the end there is the big thing. Big thing is that's whatever team we do put out, they have to put a shift in, and I think a lot of that really stems around Mark Noble really getting across to everybody how bloody important this match is. I would stay with the same back four that we played against Leicester. I wouldn't change it. I really wouldn't. I think, you know, that they did an all right job. All right, they let a few in, but I still think they did an all right job. And you know, I'm tired of seeing a different lineup at the back every bloody match. I really am. I think just keep them back there and keep strong with them. I would, you know, I don't know whether it is whether Snodgrass is out or not this, because I was just checking my tweets and I thought he was still available for this match because they were still appealing it.
If he is. If he isn't, he isn't. But that's all I've heard.
If he is out, then yeah, that's a conundrum for me. If he's not out, I would have Snodgrass, Rice, and Noble in the midfield. I don't know about up top there. Something tells me that Arnie's going to start, because I think Pellegrini is just. I think he's just showed that he's committed to him. I really do. I think he's just showing that. But
who's committed to who?
I think Pellegrini's shown that he's going to give him another go at it. I just think he's doing that. As far as I'm concerned, Arnie could dig a hole right in the middle of that pitch and just stick his head in it and let everyone run over his arsehole. I don't care. It's I'm done with him. I'm done with him.
Paint a pretty picture.
I'd like to see Antonio. I'd like to see Antonio and Perez. I really would.
Wow.
I think that would be right out of left field. I think he's showing such heart, and he's got the speed, and he's a big geezer that can. I think he could scare those fullbacks that they've got there. I don't think they know how to take him. I really don't. And I think you know it's going to be a counter-attack game, so I think it'd be good for him.
I think it's really exciting.
How about you, Tim? I mean, what do you see with the match?
Yeah, I actually kind of what Luke was saying about Pellegrini. We kind of know what he's going to do, or we kind of what we would expect, but then he likes to change stuff up. I really do think Perez is going to start over Arnautovic. I do think that if Snodgrass is not banned, if he's not, then it would be like you said. Snodgrass, Noble, Rice there in the middle, and then Anderson and Antonio on the outside, in the wings. Going back to your point there about Fredericks. Now, I think that this would be a great game for him because he would sense the importance of a London derby, and I know he'd really be up for it, and we need that pace. But that said, he's got no fundamental skills whatsoever, in my opinion. So that said, I would much rather. I guess, especially against Son. If Son's going to be on that same side, they're going to probably try to attack Zabaleta. Now, this is also why I would take Ogbonna and sit him on the bench and put Diop in there and keep Diop on the same side as Zabaleta, so that he at least have some backup with some speed. Because if Balbuena not Balbuena, what's his name? Diop is kind of deceptive. No, Diop is kind of deceptively fast. It doesn't look like he's running that fast. I mean, it looks like he's, I don't know.
I think he's a fast player.
He's just really deceptive. But anyway, I think that he would be a huge help because Zabaleta knows the game, knows the defense. I mean, he's fundamentally sound. Yes, he's slow as shit sometimes, but I'd rather see him out there. But most likely, in my opinion, it's going to be Ogbonna and Balbuena, unfortunately. And I still think Masuaku should 100% keep his position. And yeah, Fabianski, my favorite dude, should be the goal.
I'm ready here.
Yeah.
My vote anyway.
I'm not going to get on that horse.
Yeah, we're not going to.
I've already convinced one person not to vote for him for Hammer of the Year.
I voted for it.
Who's your Hammer of the Year then, Wayne?
Okay, for me, and I'll give you my reasoning behind it. It was a tough choice for me because I think if you look at, usually for me it's a player that's you couldn't have done without, and without a doubt Fabianski, if we hadn't had him in goal, we would have been relegated, I think. I really think we would have been. But for me, it's all about it's about heart for the team.
Mhm.
It's about the heart of the team and about really giving 100% when you really got nothing else to give but your heart. And for me, that's Snodgrass. I think Snodgrass came back under adversity. He fought back when most players would say, "Screw this team. These guys have treated me like dirt." The owners talk to me like I'm a piece of crap, and I'm not going to do anything for them. I just want out of this. But he came back and he knuckled down. He saw what was needed to get into the squad, and he did what was necessary. And I think when he's played out in the field, apart from a couple of really dodgy matches, which go to say that everybody has.
Yeah.
I think he's shown it. I think he's shown for me. And I've already cast my vote
That's
anyway.
What I feel
So
about Rice.
for me, he's hammer of the year.
That's why. I feel the same way
um,
about Rice. I feel the same exact way about him. Having the heart every single episode.
And it was a choice between him and Rice
match.
for me.
But yeah. That said, Luke, you mentioned something earlier about that different formation, and I had been seeing that pop up on Twitter quite a bit. Someone was posting it. The potential. With the wing backs and the 3 center backs.
Right.
And I wouldn't be opposed to that at all. I think that would be really smart against this team. But again, I can't picture Pellegrini doing that. Now, the other thing was Wayne was saying something about, having Pellegrini, he what did you say about him and Arnautovic? That he's on his side now?
I think Pellegrini has already decided that Arnautovic is going to be his guy to the end of the season.
But yet he yanked him for Perez last match. And I think that Perez performed much better. And I think that Pellegrini is so fucking old that in his mind, he's got short-term memory. He'll only remember who performed best at the end of the game. And he'll be like, okay, well, Perez, you deserve a start this next game. And then Perez is going to shit the bed. And Arnie's going to come off the bench.
In fairness, I mean, Arnie was making a really dramatic thing that his knee was hurting him or something. So he was getting sort of walked off the pitch with an injury. So he couldn't really do much for that, but I know exactly. I know what you're talking about. I know
injury.
Injury. He was ill. His knee was ill.
Do you know what? It's funny. We said this in the preview yesterday, but I was saying that with the old Arnautovic thing is that look, if he said the main reason why he considered this move to China was the fact that he's been told by doctors and he's felt the way in the last 6 months that his knees are going. They're becoming deteriorated and whatever, and he wants to make the most money he can. Which and there's the part of me that goes, okay, as a business position, fair enough. Yeah, if you've only got a short career and your body's packing in, and you're thinking, do you know what? I just need to make as much money out of this game as I can, and I'm going to piss off or do whatever. Fair play to you, mate. You go do that. But then there's a West Ham part of me that goes, actually, no, because I'm West Ham till I die. And if you don't want to play for the club for whatever reason, then you know what, take your money and fuck off. But but that is what I think is that these knees, whether they are as bad as they're making out. When you see Arnautovic now, he does look as if he's trying to do something. He does run around more than he was maybe 4 months ago and all this sort of stuff like that. But I think he's in the same boat as Andy Carroll is. I think he's physically, he doesn't seem anywhere near as capable as even if he wanted to play the way he was playing last season, if he wanted to be that robust forward that we were relying on so much last season, he physically can't do it anymore. And that's why it's like, do you know what? Maybe you do need to just piss off to China and get 400 grand a week because you're useless to us now, as you are really, because you're not having the impact you were last season. And, if his knees are dodgy, then fuck me, he needs to go before the season's gone because that's no good to us.
Yeah,
I agree with you.
No,
I mean, we got a saying down in Texas here, and that is, they shoot horses, don't they? If it's got a dodgy knee, get rid of him.
Put it down. Yeah, that's funny. Get
rid of him.
Just real quick, I just want to mention, once again, we actually have quite a few people in the live chat, and they're hammering away. We have Wally World as usual. Charlie, Sir Winks has been commenting quite a bit. They've been talking amongst each other mostly. And Jason. But there's a couple of cool comments that I want to mention. Sir Winks was saying that, we're going back to earlier in the episode, we keep buying old players on huge wages and also love an injury prone player. I mean, that seems to be our way. I mean, the transfer market for us lately has just been that. I mean, and that's what he's saying as well. And Someone else says that
Lately?
we need to start taking a chance on the we need to start taking a chance on the youth. Now, this is another thing that you were mentioning earlier, Luke, about this is the time for sure to be playing. Why hasn't Nathan Holland appeared yet? Like, not even. I mean, he sat on the bench, but he didn't even get a fucking run out. And supposedly, what everybody's talking about in the academy that we're hearing from, and all the insight is that he's better than Diangana. I mean, supposedly he's the next fucking Ravel Morrison without an attitude. Where he's like doing nasty tricks and he's got nasty flair, and that's the type of exciting player that we need, like the next best thing. And he's not even fucking playing. And what was the other one? And why isn't Diangana playing more? Like, you're right. This would be a perfect match to sneak him in there and give him some fucking time. Now, because we definitely face against that
match. I don't know that Tottenham's ever a perfect match to sneak.
Because they have a lot of injuries right now. They have not just as many as we do, but I mean they have some key fucking injuries right now, and I feel that in that atmosphere, because I feel that we need someone with his pace and trickiness up there at the top. And I feel like that's why this is a perfect fit for him compared to the rest of the matches, because Watford always seems to know exactly where to be at the right time to shut us down no matter what we do. And Southampton, not so much. I mean, that actually would probably be a better matchup. But they're a pain in the ass too. But no, I think that this would be a great opportunity. And what the fuck happened to Ben Johnson? He just fell off the face of the earth.
Yeah, the thing about it is it throws these teams. If you're regimented so much, if you're almost so predictable, then these teams can work on you week in, week out, and you'd need a really good performance, to try and get something out of the game. But if you put someone in the team who the opposition haven't worked on during the week, they haven't looked at analysis. Oh, this player's been playing this well. He's in form. He's out of form. Whatever. If you just chuck a youth player in there who's going to attack him, he's going to go, look, I want to make a name for myself. Not only in the West Ham, I'm going to name for myself in the Premier League. Because let's face it, these players ain't probably going to be at West Ham the rest of their lives.
And if they did, they would be a fucking hero by showing up against Tottenham and fucking kicking some fucking ass. I mean, they would be an absolute legend.
Yeah, fantastic. Get him in there. Let him try and take it past a few of the defenders, and they won't. Who's this kid? Where's he come from? What's this about? Chuck him in, let him go gung ho, and see what happens.
Well, I think when we're beating Tottenham 2-0, we're up 2-0. Yeah, I did look in my drawer for me rose-coloured glasses. I think that's a perfect time to chuck them in there.
Probably. And then we lose 3-2 by 3 own goals by him. Yeah, that'll work.
Yeah, my buddy Ken will love that, because he starts off every match with 3-2. We're gonna lose 3-2. I'm gonna smack him. I really am. What is your prediction? What do you reckon score?
Yeah, let's get into predictions.
Come on. I said 1-0 in our preview, and I can't change that, but I might change the goal scorer. I think it's kind of being a new stadium, being a goal hasn't been scored against them yet. A Mark Noble penalty would be so classic to win it.
Yeah.
And I don't want to give Spurs a goal against us, because I want Fabianski to have one of his best games for us ever and keep him out and all that sort of stuff like that. And I'd like us to go there and just nick a goal, 1-0. Don't have to go in 3-0, 4-0. I'm not cruel. I'm not, I'm not a harsh person like that. So I would love it, but I'm not going to expect it. But I would, I'll say 1-0. Fuck it, why not?
Wayne?
Well, I'm going to go out on a ledge. I'm going to say that it's going to be scoreless up until about the 80th minute. I think Chicharito's going to come on and he's going to score a handball, and we're going to go on 1-0 at that point. Yep.
There's no VAR
because that's going to really that's really going to piss off the Spuddy boys on that one. It really is. And I love what you said about Mark Noble scoring a penalty. I think the second goal is going to come from Mark Noble on the penalty. Anyway, I reckon 2-0. I think we're going to beat them. I really do. I feel it in my heart. I'm getting goosebumps. And if we don't beat them, you know what? I'm still going to have a couple of pints, even though it's 6:30 in the morning here in America. I don't care.
Never too early. Never
too early. 2-0. 2-0 to the Claret and Blue.
All right. So I'm going to say we're going to lose 3-2.
Oh my god!
No,
I used to like you, Tim.
well, here's the
I
thing.
like
So
you.
I have to say that because so far every single fucking prediction I've made has been wrong, and not just wrong, but like way the fuck off. So I'm going to say that they're going to win 3-2, but we are going to get that, you know, those goals that we need to, you know, the first goal at that new shithole, and I just think that something's going to happen. Like we're going to probably score about 5 goals, but only 2 of them are going to count because of the fucking refs. It's going to take us. I don't think we're going to score until the second half because the whole first half they're going to be fucking flags up and well, we got to protect our Tottenham. The Premier League says, oh, we got to protect our Tottenham in the brand new stadium. We got to keep that record alive, you know. And yeah, so fuck them, and we're going to have we're going to score 2 in the second half. We, you know, out and out fucking goals and probably a brace from Balbuena from his head. A couple set pieces.
Like, you want to put a bet on that? Because there you said it, you got to back yourself now.
I think you've been drinking too much of that coffee, mate. You've been drinking way too much of that coffee.
Oh, God, I can't get enough.
The drugs in that?
No, it's just CBD oil, man. It's good stuff. It's cannabis oil, but it's not the hallucinogen shit.
Send me some straight into the UK.
Oh hell yeah, this is fucking fantastic. But so the point is that no, I really think that it's going to be such a fucking shit show in the second half that there's going to be a lot of set pieces, and I think that Balbuena is going to smash a couple in. I really do. I don't think they're going to make it. I don't think the refs are going to make it easy for us, and I don't think Tottenham's going to make it easy for us. And I think it's going to take that long for us to find our way in that you know, atmosphere, because it's going to be buzzing, man. I mean, that whole fucking not just our fans that show up, but their fans are going to make it miserable for us. And it's going to be, yeah, it's going to take us a while to settle in. And once we do, I think we'll do it. I think we might be losing at the second, going into the second half, and I think it could come down to the end. But I just I'm going to say we're going to lose just so that we win. Because my predictions are always off. So
I'll let you off there. I'll let you off.
Oh shit. Yeah, so we got Kev from Clumsy 13 who just popped in and said hello. Right on. All right, man. Well, that's a wrap, I guess, man. But listen, Luke, we'd love to have you back on sometime, you know, and just shoot the shit. Maybe do another prediction with us sometime.
Guys, thank you so much for having me on. It's been an absolute pleasure, and we'll definitely be on again whenever you want me. If I'm back, it'll be a pleasure. Thank you.
And
give
Wayne,
my regards to old Blighty, mate.
We'll do.
And I'd like to thank Wayne for stepping in again. This is a really rare time. You know, Lee works during the day, and he's not able to do these early morning or, you know, like early afternoon shows. So Wayne's been gracious to step up, and whenever Lee can't make it, and co-host with me. So I appreciate that, Wayne. So
just so people don't get us confused, Lee's the one with a mop of hair, and I'm the one with none whatsoever.
There's some in your chin. You got some there.
Just a little bit on the chin.
Yeah. All right, guys. Well, thanks for tuning in. We have another show on what's today? Friday, Sunday night. Sunday night we have San Diego Hammers. That'll be great. San Diego will be great, and then Monday we have Charlie from Hammers Chat will be on with us, and then on Thursday we have Georgie Leahy, who's been on The Bachelor UK, the most recent season over there in England, and she was also on Britain's Got Talent a few years ago. So she's living out in LA now, or Hollywood, and she's a Hammers fan. Obviously, she's from East London, so we're gonna have her on. That'll be cool. And then I don't know what's up after that. We just have a lot of shows. We're booking a lot, so that's great. So anyway, come on, you Irons.
Come on, you Irons.